Hi, everyone, and welcome back to 24/7 English Avenue Podcast.
The podcast that helps you speak English more naturally and confidently, one conversation at a time. I'm Tom.
And I'm Sarah. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been with us for a while, we're so happy you're back. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode.
Today, we've got a really useful episode for you. We're going to focus on starting and continuing conversations in everyday English. You'll hear colloquial expressions. That just means natural, casual language. These are the expressions that native speakers use all the time without even thinking about it.
Yep, these are the kinds of phrases you might hear when two friends bump into each other on the street, at a coffee shop, or just texting back and forth.
And if you want your English to sound friendly and relaxed, these expressions are gold. We're going to start with a short dialogue, a friendly conversation between two people who haven't seen each other in a long time.
Your job is to just listen. You don't need to catch everything right away. Just notice the flow, the expressions, and the rhythm. Then after the dialogue, we'll come back and explain all the key phrases and words they use.
We'll break them down one by one, give you real examples, and even share a few personal stories to help you remember them. So get comfortable, maybe grab a coffee or some tea.
And let's listen in.
John, wait a second. Is that really you?
Leah, oh my goodness, what a surprise. I didn't expect you running to anyone I knew today.
I can't believe this. I haven't seen you in ages. You look amazing. I mean, it's like no time has passed.
I was just walking around, listening to music before heading to yoga. But seeing you here, this totally make my day. You look fantastic, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You too. So tell me, what's up? What's going on in your life these days?
It feels like it's been, I don't even know, 5 years? More?
Yeah, I think the last time we saw each other was at Emma's wedding. And that was what, 2018? That's wild. So much has happened since then. I started a new job, moved apartments twice, tried and quit painting classes. It's been a ride. And you?
Same here. Life got busy, you know. Work's been steady, and I've been trying to take better care of myself lately.
I'm really happy we ran into each other. We seriously need to catch up. I've missed talking to you.
Me too. I was actually just telling myself I need to be more social again. I started doing yoga recently. Nothing fancy, just a few classes a week. I'm trying to stick with it for the time being. But let's be honest, I've said that before. We'll see how long I last.
I totally understand. I joined this fancy new gym a few weeks ago. It's one of those really modern places where everyone looks like they belong in a fitness ad. Matching outfits, water bottles, the whole thing. Very trendy.
I know exactly what you mean. So many places now just feel, the same. Every class follows the same pattern, same music, same instructor vibe. It's all a bit run-of-the-mill. Nothing exciting, nothing that makes you look forward to going.
Exactly. That's why I've been thinking about going back to dance. I used to take classes for fun, nothing professional, but it made me so happy. The music, the movement, it just lifts your mood.
That actually sounds amazing. I might try something like that too. And honestly, just talking to you right now, out of the blue like this, it feels like a step in the right direction. I've been stuck in this boring routine lately, and I didn't even realize how much I needed to see a familiar face.
Aw, that's so sweet. You know what? Let's not lose touch again. We always say we'll stay in contact, and then life gets in the way. What are you up to this weekend?
Probably just working. I've got a few deadlines to hit, but next weekend, I think I'm totally free. unless my boss throws something new at me, which happens a lot lately.
Well, let's get together. Even if it's just a quick coffee or a walk, it doesn't have to be anything big. I just want to have a proper chat with you, not just this 5-minute sidewalk reunion.
Yes, that would be lovely. I'll have my fingers crossed that I don't get pulled into some, last-minute work thing. I could really use a chill weekend with a friend.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, let's pick a day and stick to it. No big plans yet. I know how quickly things can fall apart if you overthink it.
True. I always start imagining some big outing with food and museums and matching outfits. Then I get overwhelmed and cancel. Let's keep it simple. So, are you still at that design company you used to love?
Yeah, I'm still there, still doing graphic design. But lately, I've been thinking maybe it's time for something different. I was walking around the office, just down on the floor, where all the real work happens. And I looked around and thought, this feels too familiar, too routine.
I get that. Sometimes we just know when it's time for a change. Doesn't have to be dramatic, but it's something. Even small shifts can bring a fresh perspective.
Yeah, I'm not making any big decisions yet. But today, seeing you, talking like this, it reminded me of how good it feels to reconnect. It's like a little spark of energy. Makes me feel more hopeful,
Totally. It's funny how something small like running into an old friend can change your whole mindset. I'm really glad we saw each other today.
Me too. So let's do it. I'll wait for your message and we'll plan that coffee. This time, no disappearing for 5 years.
Deal. I'll text you tomorrow and we'll make it happen.
All right, welcome back. That was such a lovely, natural conversation, right? John and Leah haven't seen each other in years, and their chat was full of really common expressions.
Yeah, and what I love about this kind of dialogue is how real it feels. That's how people talk. It's not perfect, it's not formal, but it's honest, it's warm, and full of little phrases that carry a lot of meaning.
So now, let's go through the key expressions they used, one by one, and explain what they mean, when to use them, and how you can use them in your own conversations.
All right, let's kick things off with the very first line from the dialogue. I haven't seen you in ages. This is such a natural, friendly way to say it's been a long time since you saw someone. You could say, it's been a while, or it's been a long time, and that is absolutely fine. But in ages has a little extra warmth. It's a bit more emotional.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it feel so personal. It's not a formal sentence. It's something you'd say to a friend, someone you have a shared history with. And that phrase, in ages, it's actually a bit of an exaggeration.
Of course, it probably hasn't been actual ages, like years and years. But that exaggeration helps you express surprise or excitement, like, oh my gosh, it's been so long.
Exactly. Like a few weeks ago, I ran into one of my old school friends completely by accident. And the first thing I said was, I haven't seen you in ages. It had probably been 2 years, which isn't that long in the grand scheme of things, but it still felt long.
Yeah, I had the same thing last summer. I saw an old colleague at a train station. We haven't worked together since before the pandemic. And when I saw her, I just smiled and said, oh, wow, I haven't seen you in ages. It just came out naturally. It kind of opens the door to a conversation too. It's like saying, tell me everything. What have I missed?
Yes, and it's nice because it shows you care. You're noticing the time that's passed.
Absolutely. It works in lots of situations. You can use it for friends. What else, Sarah?
Well, neighbors.
Exactly. Even a shopkeeper you used to see all the time. Like, hey, I haven't seen you in ages. How have you been? It's a great conversation starter.
And it works in messages too, by the way. Like texting. I've started the message with, hey, haven't seen you in ages. How's life? And it just feels casual and nice.
So if you're listening and wondering, can I say this even it's only been a few months? The answer is yes. You're not being literal. You're just expressing that you feel like it's been a long time and that you're happy to reconnect.
So, next time you see someone you haven't seen in a while, whether it's 2 years or 2 months, give it a try. Hey, I haven't seen you in ages. It's warm, it's friendly, and it's a great way to open the conversation.
The next phrase from the dialogue is another really natural one. Run into someone. So when Leah says she didn't expect to run into John, what she means is she didn't plan to see him. It just happened by chance. That's the key idea here. It's unexpected.
Exactly. And just to be clear for our listeners, this doesn't mean physically bumping into someone. You're not literally running into them like crash. It's just a friendly way of saying, I saw someone I know, and it wasn't planned.
Right. And this is something native speakers use all the time. It's one of those little phrases that people say without even thinking, like, oh, I ran into Sam yesterday at the market. Or, you'll never guess who I ran into at the train station.
I use this phrase constantly. Last weekend, I went to this tiny bookstore downtown. Now, just browsing. And I ran into one of my former students. It was totally random. And we ended up chatting for 20 minutes.
That's such a nice moment, isn't it? And it happens more than we expect. I actually ran into my old flatmate at a cafe last month. We hadn't seen each other in years, and I had no idea she even lived in the same neighborhood. It led to us reconnecting and having coffee next weekend.
And what I love about this phrase is that it's so easy to use when you're telling a story. Like, I was walking through the park, just minding my own business, and then I ran into Jack from high school, and suddenly you've got everyone listening.
Yes, it's such a natural way to start a small talk. If you're at work on Monday morning, you might say to a colleague, you'll never guess who I ran into over the weekend. That one sentence can lead to a whole fun conversation.
Now, just a quick note for our listeners. Running to is not the same as meet, okay? Meet usually means it's planned or that you're meeting someone for the first time. But running to is spontaneous. It's unplanned. And that's part of what makes it special.
Totally. And sometimes you run into someone you're really happy to see, like a good friend. But other times, well, you might run into someone awkward, like an ex or your old boss. And you still say it the same way. Oh, I ran into Greg yesterday. It was so awkward.
So the phrase itself is neutral, but the situation can be wonderful or it can be a little painful.
Okay, let's move on to another super common, super friendly phrase. What's up? This is one of those expressions that you'll hear everywhere in English. It's short, casual, and it's often one of the first things people say when they see each other.
Yeah, it's basically just a relaxed way of saying, "Hi, how are you?" or "What are you doing?" But the key is, it's not really meant to start a deep, serious conversation. It's more like a greeting, something you say when you meet someone casually or send them a quick message.
Exactly. It's often used between friends, classmates, co-workers, people you're comfortable with. And usually, when someone says, "What's up?" they're not expecting a long answer.
You can just reply with something simple like, "Not much," or "Just working," or "All good, you?"
I use this phrase all the time, Sarah, especially in texts. Like, if I want to check in with a friend I haven't spoken to in a while, I might just text them, "Hey, what's up?" And then, if they're free, we might start chatting or make plans to meet.
Yeah. And I think one reason it's so popular is that it's super low pressure. Like, if you're not sure how to start a conversation, this is the perfect way. You're not being too formal, and you're not jumping into anything too serious. It's just, light.
I remember when I first moved to a new city for university, I didn't know anyone, and I was super nervous about talking to people. But one guy I sat next to in class turned to me and just said, "Hey, what's up?" And I remember thinking, oh, that's it? That's how you start a conversation? And it made it so easy to respond.
That's such a good point. It is easy, and that's why it's such a useful tool for learners as well. You don't need to worry about grammar or sounding formal. You can just say, "What's up?" and open the door. Now, one quick thing for learners to be aware of: "What's up?" is casual. You wouldn't usually say it in a job interview or when you meet someone important for the first time. In those cases, "How are you?" or "Nice to meet you" is better.
Totally. But with friends, family, people your age, go for it. It helps you sound relaxed, confident, and more natural. And if someone asks you, "What's up?" don't stress. Just smile and answer however you feel. Maybe, "Not much, just heading to the gym." Or, "Just got home from work." Or even just, "Same old, same old."
All right, now let's talk about one of my all-time favorite expressions: catch up. You probably heard John say to Leah in the dialogue, "We need to catch up." And this phrase comes up all the time in English, especially when friends haven't seen each other for a while.
Yeah, and I love how friendly it sounds. It's casual, warm, and it says a lot in just two little words. When you say, "Let's catch up," you're basically saying, let's spend time together and share what we've missed. You're talking about news, updates, life changes, anything that's happened since the last time you talked. Exactly. And the idea behind it is that life moves fast, right? We're always busy. We don't always keep in touch. So catching up is like reconnecting the pieces, filling in the blanks between now and the last time you spoke.
Totally. Just last weekend, I caught up with a friend from university. We hadn't seen each other in over a year, so we met up for lunch and we spent hours talking about everything. His new job, my move, our families, travel plans. It felt so good to just sit and catch up.
Yeah, and it's not just about big updates either. Sometimes catching up just means hanging out and talking about whatever's going on. even if it's small stuff. I caught up with my cousin the other day over a quick phone call. We chatted about what we were watching on Netflix, some family news, and it wasn't anything dramatic, but it felt nice.
And to our listeners, this is a great phrase to use when you want to reconnect with someone you haven't seen in a while. You could say, let's catch up soon, or it's been forever, we need to catch up. It works perfectly in texts, emails, or face-to-face.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, it works as a noun too. So someone might say, that was such a nice catch-up, or we should plan a catch-up next week. You can use it both ways, verb and noun, and it sounds completely natural.
Here is another thing I've noticed. This phrase doesn't just mean talking. It can also mean getting back to the same level as someone or something. For example, if you missed a few classes, you might say, I need to catch up on the work. Or if your friend is ahead of you in a game, you might say, I'll catch up, don't worry.
That's a great point. So depending on the situation, it can mean social updates or progress. But in the dialogue today, we're focusing on the social version. Friends, family, long-lost classmates. When you want to reconnect, catching up is how we describe that moment.
All right, let's keep it going. The next expression from the dialogue is for the time being. You probably heard Leah say something like, I've started yoga again, for the time being at least.
And this is a really useful phrase that we use in English to talk about something that is happening right now, but might change later.
Exactly. For the time being basically means for now, or at the moment. But there's always a small feeling that it's temporary, that it might not last forever. So when someone says it, they're usually not making a long-term promise.
Right. It's kind of a gentle way of saying, let's see how long this lasts, or this is the situation for now, but it could change. For example, last year, I was in between apartments, and I stayed with a friend for a month. Whenever someone asked me where I was living, I would say, I'm staying with a friend, just for the time being. It let people know that it wasn't permanent, it was temporary.
That's a great example, Tom. And I think we often use it when we don't want to commit to something long-term. Like, I've stopped drinking coffee for the time being. That usually means I'm trying, but I might go back.
I've said that exact sentence, by the way. It didn't last. 3 days in, and I was already back at the cafe.
Yeah, same here. I once told my family I'm off social media for the time being. And then I was scrolling again by the weekend.
This phrase is useful because it's flexible. You can use it to talk about habits, routines, work situations, anything that feels temporary.
Totally. You might hear someone say, I'm working part-time for the time being, or we're living with my parents for the time being. It kind of gives you an escape plan in your sentence, like, this is what I'm doing, but I haven't decided if it's forever.
Yes, and it sounds really natural in both speaking and writing. You might see it in emails too, like, we're using a temporary system for the time being until the new one is ready.
And here is one small tip for our listeners. Be careful not to confuse it with for the meantime, which isn't as commonly used. Native speakers almost always say for the time being.
So if you want to express something that's happening right now, but isn't permanent, this is a great phrase to use. Whether you're trying a new job, taking a break from something, or just seeing how things go, you can say, I'm doing this for the time being. And honestly, it gives you room to change your mind later, which we all need sometimes.
Okay, let's talk about the next word from the dialogue. Trendy. Now, this one is fun because it's used a lot, especially when people are talking about fashion, lifestyle, or popular places. You probably heard Leah describe the gym she went to as super trendy.
Yeah, and trendy basically means fashionable, modern, or popular at the moment. It comes from the word trend, which is something that's becoming really popular. So if something is trendy, it means a lot of people are doing it, wearing it, or talking about it. Probably on Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah. You'll hear people say things like, that cafe is really trendy, or she always wears trendy clothes. And sometimes trendy can be a compliment, like someone who keeps up with style or knows what's in.
But sometimes it also means something is a little too popular, right? Like maybe it looks good, but it feels like everyone's doing the exact same thing.
Totally. Like once I went to this trendy smoothie place. It was all over social media. Beautiful drinks and plants everywhere. But when I got there, the smoothie was tiny, cost way too much, and honestly, it wasn't even that good. Very trendy, but not very satisfying.
That's the thing, Sarah. Trendy doesn't always mean quality. It just means it's in style right now. So if you say that gym was super trendy, it might mean it had the latest equipment, cool lighting, a stylish crowd, but it might also feel a bit intense or too much.
Yeah, and sometimes you can use it in a slightly joking way. Like, oh, I bought this trendy water bottle. It's supposed to keep water cold for 24 hours. You're kind of laughing at yourself for getting caught up in the hype.
And you know, trendy things often change fast. What's trendy today might feel old next month. That's why some people say, I don't follow trends. I go for what I like.
But to our listeners, this word is a really useful one, especially when you like talking about clothes, shops, cafes, or tech. You could say, that shop looks trendy, or everyone's wearing those trendy sneakers. And if you want to ask someone what's popular, you could say, what's trendy right now? Or even just, what's the latest trend? It's a great way to start a fun conversation.
So whether you love trends or avoid them, this word is everywhere. And now you know exactly how to use it.
All right, this next one is such a cool phrase, and honestly, it's one that not many learners pick up right away. The phrase is run of the mill.
In the dialogue, Leah says everything's just so run of the mill when she's talking about fitness classes that all feel the same.
Right, so run of the mill means something is ordinary, average, not very special. It's not bad. It's just nothing exciting. Nothing that stands out.
Exactly. And that's such a visual phrase too. It comes from factories, actually. A mill is a machine that produces the same thing over and over. So if something is run of the mill, it's like a product that just comes down the line.
That's such a helpful image. And it really matches how we use it. For example, last week I watched a new movie that had great reviews, but honestly, it felt so run-of-the-mill. Same plot, nothing surprising.
I feel the same about restaurants sometimes. Like, you walk in, the menu looks exactly like 10 other places, the food's okay, but not memorable, and you leave thinking, that was fine. Pretty run-of-the-mill. Pretty run-of-the-mill. And the great thing is, this phrase is not rude. It's not insulting. It's just an honest way to say, this didn't really excite me. You can use it in a chill, polite way.
Also, to our listeners, this is a really good phrase to use when you want to give your opinion in a subtle way.
In a way that is not too direct.
For example, the hotel was fine, pretty run-of-the-mill. Or, his presentation was okay. Nothing special, kind of run-of-the-mill.
Yeah, it's more natural than just saying it was boring. So if you're ever talking about a movie, a meal, a class, or even a meeting that didn't stand out in any way, now you've got the perfect phrase. Try it out this week. Watch something, go somewhere, and ask yourself, was it exciting? Or was it just kind of run-of-the-mill?
Okay, this next one is such a beautiful phrase, and I think it's one that learners fall in love with once they start using it.
The expression is before you knew it. And in the dialogue, John uses it when he's talking about dancing. He says, before you know it, an hour has passed.
Yeah, and it's such a lovely way to describe how time seems to fly by when you're enjoying something, or even when something happens faster than expected. It basically means it happened quickly, almost without me noticing.
Exactly. And what's cool about this phrase is that it's often used in positive or lighthearted situations. Like when you're doing something fun or easygoing and you kind of lose track of time. I use it a lot when I'm talking about weekends. Like, you blink and it's Monday. Before you know it, the weekend is over. It's that feeling of time just slipping through your fingers.
Yes. Or when you're reading a really good book, you think, I'll just read one chapter. And before you know it, it's midnight and you've read half the book.
That happened to me last week, Sarah. I sat down to check one email, just one. And before you know it, it was 45 minutes later and I was watching cat videos on YouTube.
We've all been there, and this phrase works really well in storytelling. It helps move the story along. Like, I got to the party, started talking to friends, and before you know it, it was already midnight. It adds a little rhythm and flow to the conversation.
And again, to our listeners, the cool thing is it's easy to use. It usually comes right before a sentence, in the past or future, like, before you know it, the holidays will be here. Sarah, can you provide another example?
Yeah, sure. The kids grow up so fast. Before you know it, they're into high school.
And there is often a little surprise and a tone. You're saying, wow, I didn't realize it happened so quickly. It shows emotion, surprise, reflection, sometimes even a bit of nostalgia. All right, next up is one of those expressions that's full of hope and positivity. It's a step in the right direction.
In the dialogue, Leah says that seeing John again felt like a step in the right direction. And that really captured her emotional state.
Yeah, and this is such a beautiful expression. It basically means you've done something small that moves you closer to a goal, a solution, or just a better place, even if you're not there yet. It's progress. Maybe slow progress, but still, progress.
Exactly. It's like saying things aren't perfect yet, but this is helping. So even if it's not the final answer, it's encouraging. You're saying, hey, I'm on the right path. And I have used this phrase a lot in my own life. For example, during the pandemic, I had a hard time with routines. I wasn't sleeping well, I wasn't exercising, and one day I just made myself go for a walk in the morning. It wasn't a huge workout, but it felt good. And I remember thinking, okay, this is a step in the right direction.
That's such a great example, Sarah. And I have had moments like that too, especially with writing. There are times when I can't focus and I don't feel productive at all. But if I write just one paragraph, I tell myself, it's not much, but it's a step in the right direction. It helps me stay positive.
Yeah, and that's the tone of this phrase. It's gentle, it's kind, and it's realistic. You're not pretending that everything's perfect. You're just saying that you've done something that helps.
And to our listeners, you can use this in all kinds of situations. Let's say you're trying to improve your English and you finally read a whole article in English without translating every word. That's a win. You can say, I still struggle with speaking, but reading that article was a step in the right direction.
You can also use this when you're giving encouragement to someone else. Like, you're still learning, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. It's a kind way to say, keep going. You're doing great.
I love that. So if you're doing something new, working toward a goal, or just trying to make a change, and it's not easy, don't focus only on the big result. Notice those small wins. It's a step in the right direction.
Okay, next on the list is a classic question you'll hear everywhere. What are you up to? In the dialogue, John asks Leah, what are you up to this weekend?
And this is such a common, friendly way of asking someone what they are doing, especially in casual conversation.
Yeah, and what's great about it is that it's short, natural, and flexible. You can use it to ask what someone's doing right now, like, hey, what are you up to? Or what their plans are for later, like, what are you up to this weekend? Or what are you up to after work?
It's just another way of saying, what are you doing? But it sounds more relaxed and friendly. It's often used when you don't want to sound too direct, especially in text messages or informal chats.
Yeah, I use it all the time with friends. If I want to meet up or just start a conversation, I'll message them, hey, what are you up to? It gives them a chance to say, not much, you? And boom, now we're talking.
Yeah, it's a great little opener. And I think it works really well in English because it doesn't ask for a deep answer. You're just inviting someone to share a little bit of what's going on.
Exactly. Sometimes when I'm at home on a Sunday and I feel like going out, I'll text a couple of friends. Hey, what are you up to this afternoon? If someone says, just chilling, then maybe we'll meet for coffee.
Also, you don't need to overthink your answer. If someone asks, what are you up to? You can keep it simple. Not much. Just working. Getting ready to go out. Or even nothing special. You don't need to give your whole life story.
Yeah, and just to be clear for learners, what are you up to is informal. You probably wouldn't use it in a job interview or with someone you don't know well. But with friends, coworkers, classmates, absolutely.
Okay, this next one is such a common and expressive little phrase. It's have my fingers crossed. You probably heard Leah say something like, I'll have my fingers crossed that nothing last minute comes up at work. And it's such a warm, hopeful expression, isn't it?
Totally. When we say, I have my fingers crossed, we mean we're really hoping that something goes well. It's like a way to send good luck, either to ourselves or to someone else.
Yeah, and the phrase actually comes from the old idea that crossing your fingers brings good luck or protection. Some people even do the physical action of, crossing their fingers when they say it.
Yeah, I still do that sometimes, especially when I'm waiting for something I care about, like results or good news.
For example, last month, my nephew had an audition for a school play. He was nervous, and I said to him, don't worry, I've got my fingers crossed for you. He smiled. It made him feel like I was really rooting for him.
That's so sweet. I use it when I apply for things. Like last year, when I submitted an article to a publication, I told my husband, it's out of my hands now. Fingers crossed, they like it. It was a way of saying, I hope it goes well, even though I can't control the outcome.
Yeah, and it works in casual situations too. Like if someone says, I've got a big job interview tomorrow, you can reply, I will have my fingers crossed. It's encouraging and it shows you care.
Exactly. It's such a friendly, supportive phrase. And it's useful in so many different situations. Exams, interviews, travel, weather, even when someone's baking and hoping their cake doesn't collapse in the oven.
Yeah, been there. Fingers crossed this cheesecake doesn't crack. True story.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode, packed with real-life English expressions you can start using right away.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll be back soon with more episodes to help you build your confidence, learn natural English, and maybe even have some fun doing it. Until then, keep listening, keep practicing.
And we'll catch up soon. Bye for now.